Okay guys, welcome back to another episode of our Christmas special series. Today is episode 12. Today's episode 12. We are going to be working on the score today. We're going to change it up a little bit. Today might be a very short video, probably like 5 to 10 minutes depending on how long it takes. It shouldn't take too long at all because we are just going to be updating our score UI because currently it looks terrible. And I want to change the font of it, and then I also want to add in like a little animation so that when you do get more points added to your score, it's going to look like it's actually counting up. Well, the numbers will count up individually all the way up to the score that you will get. So if you are on 0 at the start of the game and you get an extra 5 points, it will count up very quickly from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and stop at 5, and then so on. If you get more points, it will count from 5 to whatever your new score is. So let us go and jump in here and see how we do this. So first of all, let's go and change the font. So I downloaded a kind of Christmassy font that I want to try and use. I've never used it before, but we will try it. So I'm going to import it and drag it into our folder. I create a new fonts folder. So we will try this again. So drag these into there. Okay, now we need to go and generate these. So open up our window, Xmas Pro Font Asset Creator, and then we can drag in our Merry Christmas fonts. So this one is going to be, let's start with our flake first. We'll click on that one, and then we'll generate the font, and then we'll save it in that folder, and then we'll do the same thing for our star. Generate that font and then save it in there. Now if we go to our score label, we should be able to choose those fonts. So let's try and use the flake one. Let's try and use the star. Okay, so I mean, they're both pretty similar, but let's make them a bit bigger so we can actually see them. Let's try 100. So 100, and now we need to change the width to about 400 maybe. We shall try, let's make the width to about 800, and then let's add some score. So score is going to be equal to 40. Oh, I don't like that. You can't really see the number. No, I don't like that. We might have to download a different font. Let's try the flake one. Does that give us our numbers? No. Okay, so back to the internet where we shall download another font. Okay, let's try this one. This one looks pretty good. So we shall open this one up, and then I will import. I think this is fine. Import it into there. Now we need to generate that font, so let's go back to our Xmas Pro Font Asset Creator and drag this in. Well, we don't need to drag it in, we'll use that, generate it, save it, and then pop that in here. So hopefully this one we can see our numbers. 45, okay, so that gives us a number, so we will use this font for now. It looks pretty good. It's kind of like a Christmas themed font. So we'll use that one. We could probably make this a little bit smaller because this font is quite big, so let's make that about 75. We'll leave it in the middle for now, and we'll just move it down a little bit, probably to about 35, like that. And then should we change the color of it maybe to about like greenish color or red, or nah, I think let's leave it as white for now, because I think we might add in like a little background to it. But let us go and start making that animation. So we'll save that, and then we'll jump into our scripts here. And for this animation, we're going to need a few different variables or floats to keep track of the number that we're on, and then also to keep track of the number that we're working towards. So let's go and make those. So first things first, we have our score integer over there. So let's keep all of our scores things together. So here, let's go and say public static. This is going to be a float. And then we want it to be the speed. So that is going to be the speed of how fast it counts up to the target score. So we'll set this as probably about 50 for now. If it's too slow or if it's too fast, we will change it later. So the next thing we want is a public static float. This is going to be a, what's this, what are we going to call this? This is going to be our target score. We don't need to set that to anything because we will set that when we go and increment the score. So we'll save that like that. I think that's all we need in this class, and then we can jump into our, where is it? Into our UI manager. This is where we update our score. So in here we've got reference to our score label already, so that's all we need to do. The other thing we need to do is we need to go and tell it to work from the current score, which is going to start at 0, and then it's going to move towards the target score, which is the variable we just created. And then we also need to tell it how fast we want it to work towards that goal, and then update the current score label text UI graphic in the game, which this line will do. So let us go and do that. So it's pretty simple. I think it's only one line of code. So the only thing we want to do is we want to update our display score. So let's go here and say global.display, what did we call it? We called it our target score. But let's go and change this to display score because this is the score that's going to be displayed, so it makes sense. Display score, like that. Save that. In the UI manager we can go and say global.display score is equal to math f dot what is this going to be? This is going to be move towards. Then we wanted to move towards our actual score, so the display score is going to start at 0, so we'll pass in that. So the current score is going to be global.display score. The target is obviously going to be our score, so global.score, because if you remember in our destroy on mouse click here, we are incrementing the display, the actual score with our score increment. So when we click on a target, we update our score with an extra 5 points. So that is our target. So the display score float is going to work from the current score of the game to the new target score. Technically it's going to increment in 5, but it's going to go from like the current score, and you'll be able to see the change and not just pop straight to the new score. And then what we're going to do is we also want to pass in the speed that we wanted to change at. So I think we created a, let's go and say global, I'll try that again. I think we created a speed that we want to use for this, so let's go and say global dot, I think it was, yeah, transition speed, and that we want to times by time dot delta time. So we'll save that. So now the only thing we have left to do is change this from global score or global.score to global.display score. So we can save that, and hopefully that should now display the animation from the current score to the target score. So let's go get rid of that and play the game. Now you should see it starts at 0, and whenever we click on a, well, that's not right. Whenever we click on a score, well, score a target object, we see that animation, but clearly we need to go and format it. So let's go back and format this correctly. So instead of just saying all of this, we can go and say string dot format. And then we can say, what is it? We wanted to display score. And then what else do we want to do? We want to do a format of 0:00, so that displays, we could probably put 3 zeros maybe. Just like that. And then after that we can say this global dot display score. So that should format our score correctly now, hopefully. So we should only see 3 digits. We could lower it to 2 digits, but it depends on how good you are at the game. So now you can see that we only see it move up. Actually, let's go and say just 1. Let's see what that does. So we'll save that like that, and let's see if we click on these the target objects, what that gives us. So we click on it, it gives us 5. It should go up to 10 now. Oh, we missed that one. So we also missed that one. There we go. Okay, so that's fine. That works nicely. We can still go above 1 digit. And also, I think that speed looks pretty good. So, okay. Yeah, that's fine. We shall leave it like that. Cool. That looks good. The only thing I want to do is I want to move this to the side of the screen because it's centered. Depending on the width of the numbers, it's kind of shifting like left and right slightly, which I don't really like. So I'm gonna align that to the left, and then I'm also going to pop it over to the left of the screen, but I am going to move it down a little bit, and then I am going to move it in slightly, just so that there's a bit of a gap on the top and the side of it. So let's leave it like that, and then that should be it. But also it's kind of big, so let's go and change the font size to about 50. That's too small. Let's go and say 60. Yeah, cool. So let's go and lift it up a bit, and then let's play the game and see. Now, hopefully, because it's aligned to the left, the only thing that will move slightly is the actual numbers. So let's go and click on some of the numbers. So that looks pretty good. Okay, we missed that one. So yeah, that looks better. Much better if we can actually click on the target objects. So another thing that I'm thinking about adding to the game is like a little animation for when you actually hit the targets. I don't know what animation yet, but as soon as you hit the targets, you want something to happen and not just the actual target to just disappear. It just makes the game a lot more fun to play, I guess. But I'll try and create that animation, and then maybe we can do that in the next episode. But like I said, this is going to be a short episode, so that's pretty much it for today's. Let's change this. That is pretty much it for today's episode. So hope you enjoyed that. It's a little bit of fun. I've never actually done that before, but now that I have seen how it works, it's pretty cool. I'll probably do that with all my score labels and all the games that I make. So yeah, that's it for today. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode, where hopefully we will add in a little animation when we click on the target objects. But that's it for today. So goodbye, and I'll see you tomorrow.